is the 15th of March 2014. Many thanks for joining us on the weekly report on Ebru Africa TV. I'm Kamene Goro, and we have one comprehensive look at what transpired in our continent this week. But first, the headlines. Bloodshed in Nigeria. Attackers on motorcycles kill at least 69 people in attacks on villages in Katsina State in northwestern Nigeria. World Kidney Day. In line with celebrations in Nairobi, reports indicate an increase in the number of kidney patients in Kenya.
We come with a new government that believes that our focus and attention and the area where we have greatest potential to achieve prosperity for our nation and our people.
Ethiopia-Kenya domestic integration. Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Kenya and Ethiopia signed a business MOU in Addis Ababa aimed at creating a more robust business environment. Demonstrations in Juba. More than 1,000 people protest in capital Juba on Tuesday, accusing the United Nations of arming rebels. We start off in Kenya, where all parastatal heads will take a 20% pay cut as the government moves to manage its wage bill. President Uhuru Kenyatta issued the orders on a Monday while opening a national debate on the public sector wage bill in Nairobi. Our reporter Hezbon Mugambi has the details.
President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto made an unprecedented move in taking a 20% pay cut last week. This is in a bid to cut the spiraling wage bill.
My government is indeed convinced that the recent growth in public sector wage bill is both unsustainable and unacceptable.
And today he made a call to other government officials saying pay cuts for government employees is no longer an option.
Public sector average wages may compare favorably with the private sector when we add the huge sums the government pays out in allowances and other benefits. Public sector wages actually outperform the private sector.
During the forum, attended by over 500 participants drawn from various sectors of the economy, the chairperson of the Salaries Commission, Sarah Serem, and Cabinet Secretary for Devolution, Annie Goro, emphasized the need to reduce the wage bill.
If we don't, we will be forced to borrow to keep the sick healed, to keep the poor sheltered, to educate our children, to have our farms watered, and so forth.
The current trajectory of the wage bill is unsustainable and is inhibiting the country's potential to achieve Vision 2030 and is rolling out medium-term plans.
The president urged the public servants to think outside the box and stop regarding a salary increase as the only way to make the ends meet. The president said the government is now auditing the payroll to weed out ghost workers. The Kenyan government says for the country to achieve her development goals, the current wage bill has to be reduced from the 13% of the national GDP to around 7%.
International best practice informs us that for developing countries, it should be 7% of GDP. In the more developed countries, it can go as high as 8.5% of GDP. We are double the international best practice.
We need, as an example, to develop our roads, to revamp our health facilities, to build a standard gauge railway, which, as the Deputy President has said, will lead to a reduction in the cost of transport and goods. We must implement the South Sudan-Ethiopia transit corridor that will open up 3/4 of Kenya to new investment and economic opportunities. We must invest in irrigation in order to achieve our food security goal, but the slice of our national cake devoted to development expenditure would and will continue to dwindle if we do not contain the pressure on wages.
The current wage bill stands at 13% of Kenya's GDP. This, the Kenyan government says, is unsustainable.
In the current financial year, for example, we estimate the total remuneration to the public service will account for 55% of our tax revenue and 13% of the total national cake, which economists prefer to refer to as gross domestic income.
The president said the government is now auditing the payroll to weed out ghost workers. Reporting for Ebru Africa News, I'm Esbon Mogambe.
The 32nd Band Forum, in conjunction with the Journalists and Writers Foundation at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, came to a close on Monday with great inspirational solutions to the current prevailing conflicts in the world. Now, the function was presided over by Deputy Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Demeke Mekonnen.
The forum saw over 2,000 participants from around the world from diverse backgrounds discuss, among other things, freedom of expression as a way of conflict resolution and respect to the sacred. The Deputy Prime Minister of Ethiopia, His Excellency Demeke Mekonnen, graced the occasion and lauded the efforts by Turkish academicians for the good works that they continue to do in Ethiopia and around the world.
It is rather gratifying that the same sensitivity towards a perfectly secular education is being displayed by all the Turkish schools here in Ethiopia. I know, like most of you, that the Turkish schools have a proven record of academic success.
During the closing ceremony, certificates and honors were given to exemplary role players, and among those who was given was the Honorary President of Journalists and Writers Foundation, a Turkish scholar, Fethullah Gülen, who was given his certificate in his absence. Through the inspiration of Fethullah Gülen, schools have been opened in more than 140 countries across the world, and most of the beneficiaries were in this forum.
This forum is an inspiration from Fethullah Gülen. Now we are joined by one person, an inhabitant of Ethiopia, and he's going to tell us more about Fethullah Gülen. Please welcome.
Thank you so much for, really what he is doing is really we surprised here. We really like it, and in short time there are many big changes here, and every day by day we are seeing the changes here, and we are really happy for this.
The conclusion of the forum gave room for improvement and appreciation of other people's beliefs, and a joint final report drawn by the members.
The Abant International Forum, held here at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, seeks to bring peace, understanding, coexistence and good living among the people of the world. Reporting for Ebru News Africa, I'm CJ Junior.
More than 1,000 people protested in South Sudan's capital, Juba, on Tuesday, accusing the United Nations of arming rebels. The government recently said its troops had intercepted weapons in a UN convoy marked as carrying food. The UN, on the other hand, denied the arms were destined for rebels, but acknowledged that it made a mistake by transporting them by road.
The latest incident will increase government animosity towards the UN mission in South Sudan known as UNMISS. In January, South Sudan President Salva Kiir accused the UN of running a parallel government in his country, a charge it denied. Protesters demanded the resignation of UN South Sudan Special Representative Hilda Johnson at the rally addressed by top government officials. UN will now send a high-level team to South Sudan to carry out a joint investigation with the government into the incident. The UN acknowledged that it had reached an agreement with the government when it transported weapons by road rather than by air. Government troops intercepted the weapons in Rumbek, the capital of Lakes City, as they were being transported to Bentiu, the capital of Unity State. The weapons were for Ghanaian troops who had arrived in South Sudan to join the UNMISS forces and not for rebel forces. In December, fighting broke out between troops loyal to President Salva Kiir and his sacked Deputy President Riek Machar, forcing some 860,000 people to flee their homes. A ceasefire was agreed between the two sides towards the end of January, but they have accused each other of violating it. Peace talks hosted by Ethiopia are currently suspended and are expected to resume on the 20th of March.
Top universities from Turkey on Tuesday gave Kenyan students a chance to broaden their options as far as higher education is concerned. Now, this was done at a university education fair at the Light Academy Kindergarten in Nairobi.
The annual event is having its second round in Nairobi and has proven better than the previous one with a better turnout. 10 universities from Turkey that specialize in different courses were hosted. Here the students sought information and clarification from universities of their choice on what they want to specialize in after high school. Some of the students present at the event told Ebru Africa TV that they were glad to have such an opportunity to interact with the universities and added that they had interest in studying in Turkey.
I came out today because I'm interested in a few medicine courses, and I had these Turkish universities, they offer medicine courses, so it's been a good experience.
Tariq Unal, the director of Anatolia Consultant Education Company who hosted the event, said the increase in demand from Kenyan students to study in Turkey influenced their decision to hold the education fair.
Now that the exams are over, universities, the students have started looking for the opportunities all around the world, not only in Kenya but all around the world. So we are basically providing them an opportunity to interact with the universities in person and to explore what options are waiting for them there.
Top student in the 2013 national examinations, Tom Wanderi, was also present in the event in his search for a university that offered a course in petroleum engineering.
Personally, I want to pursue engineering in the field of petroleum, and Turkey is one of the chief petroleum exporters in the world. So studying in Turkey particularly will be a very great opportunity towards my career.
This event was timely as it came barely a month after the release of the 2013 Kenya National Examinations results.
The Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Kenya and Ethiopia on Tuesday signed a business MOU in Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, aimed at creating a more robust business environment. Kenya's president, who is leading the delegation, exuded confidence in the way the sustainable economic growth will be achieved through such collaboration.
Kenya and Ethiopia have from way back in history enjoyed cordial and mutual relationship with each other. This kind of understanding was now taken a notch higher during the signing of a business agreement in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The signing of the MOU was done in the presence of Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta and Ethiopia's Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn.
I also believe that this forum is of paramount importance in providing opportunities for business of both our countries to exchange ideas and experiences, as well as bottlenecks, to contributing to the promotion of trade and investment in both countries.
Leaders of Chamber of Commerce and Industry from Kenya and Ethiopia say the two countries should continue with all forms of business relations, disregarding any form of differences that might have arisen in the past. Kenya's president, who was leading the business delegation to Ethiopia, said all doors are open for any persons from Ethiopia and Kenya to do business within the country and incentives will be given.
We come with a new government that believes that our focus and attention and the area where we have greatest potential to achieve prosperity for our nation and our people is by working in close harmony with our region, first and foremost, with our continent second, and with the rest of the world third, in that order.
The president was accompanied by some of the cabinet secretaries and members of government. He is on an official state visit to Ethiopia, which is his first to an African country since his inauguration. The Cabinet Secretary of Foreign Affairs said that this kind of relationships will continue from now onwards.
Growth, poverty reduction, and improving the lives of our people require a vibrant private sector. It has a key role to play in addressing our challenges. It supports inclusive growth, poverty reduction, job creation, access to critical goods and basic services, and it provides governments with tax revenues.
During the conference, a great encouragement was done as to have intra-African trade and build more business opportunities for Africa and for Africans.
The completion of the signing of Memorandum of Understanding between Ethiopia and Kenya will certainly see these two countries go great heights in terms of business and finance. Reporting for Ebru News Africa, in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, I'm CJ Junior.
Learning has been paralyzed in public universities in Kenya this week after lecturers went on strike despite a court order obtained by the Federation of Employers. Now, the lecturers are demanding more than 3.9 billion shillings that was agreed upon between them and the government in a 2012 collective bargaining agreement.
Lecturers went on strike even after their employers obtained a court order blocking the industrial action. At the center of the dispute is full payment of the second phase of the 7.8 billion shilling salary award that the lecturers negotiated in 2012. At the University of Nairobi main campus, lecture halls were empty. The University Academic Staff Union, University of Nairobi Chapter Union leaders said they will not be intimidated and will return to work once their demands are met.
What we are saying is this, that the university's management, and we are talking about vice chancellors, they took the money and they are not party to that agreement. They took out of 7.8 billion, they took 3.8 billion and paid themselves. They have owned up, they have surrendered the money. They are saying, let's agree we share this 2.2 billion. 1.6 billion is still outstanding, but we are saying we want all our money. And we are saying this, the government is delaying in arresting these guys because this is a case of economic sabotage. This is a criminal nature, theft by a servant, abuse of office. How do you share yourself money that does not belong to you?
The situation was the same at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology main campus in Juja.
Libya's former Prime Minister Ali Zaidan left the country on Wednesday evening despite a travel ban. Prosecutors in Tripoli said he had been banned from leaving because of a probe into alleged financial irregularities. Zaidan was dismissed by Parliament on Tuesday after a tanker laden with oil from a rebel-held port was said to have broken through a naval blockade.
أنا لا أعتقد 100 سيارة.
After being thrown out of office following a tumultuous first year, Libya's former Prime Minister Ali Zaidan has fled to Europe. For some Libyans, this is good news.
The dismissal was a good thing because the goals set by Zaidan's ministry were not achieved.
I support the dismissal because Zaidan is a bad man, and he did nothing for the country.
The Prime Minister's ouster followed an episode in which an oil tanker made a dramatic escape from a rebel-held port. Zaidan had threatened to bomb the North Korean tanker if it tried to leave, but it reached international waters. Many Libyans say the incident undermined Zaidan's credibility. Political analyst Salah El-Bakoush says the situation could have been avoided.
The dismissal of Prime Minister Zaidan, in my opinion, came too late. This was supposed to have happened months ago. It would have saved Libya many troubles.
Libya's defense minister was sworn in as acting prime minister on Tuesday, but whomever is ultimately chosen will be leading a country deeply divided along regional and political lines.
Heavy rain continues to cause widespread flooding in South Africa's northern provinces, including Johannesburg. Now, the local weather bureau on Tuesday issued more flood warnings for the region, while emergency teams remain on standby to assist victims.
The South African Weather Services has issued another flood warning for northern parts of the country, warning of flooding in Gauteng, Mpumalanga and Limpopo. Police are still searching for 3 young boys from Mamelodi, a township northeast of Pretoria, who are thought to have been swept away in the swollen Moretele River. 7 sluice gates, which are used to control the flow of water at the Vaal Dam, were opened on Tuesday, prompting fears that the Vaal River could burst its banks and cause further flooding. At least 60 sluice gates at various dams across the region have been opened by officials in an attempt to regulate water flow as heavy rains persist. Following a week of relentless rains, homes have been swamped and roads washed away. Gauteng is one area that has been hit hard, with rain falling steadily for nearly 2 weeks.
Nigeria's President Goodluck Jonathan on Thursday ordered a forensic audit of the state oil firm following claims that $20 billion had gone missing. President Jonathan's office denied the claim and said reputable international firms would carry out the audits.
President Goodluck Jonathan promised to look into the claims by suspended Central Bank Governor Lamido Sanusi that $20 billion in oil revenue had not been accounted for. Nigeria's Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and a Senate committee also called for an audit after Sanusi presented his evidence to MPs. Sassouni was suspended last month after he told a Senate committee that the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) had failed to account for $20 billion of the $67 billion of oil sold between January 2012 and July 2013. The NNPC has denied the money is missing, saying the allegations showed little understanding of the technicalities of the oil industry. Nigeria is one of the world's biggest oil producers, although many of its citizens still live in poverty and say they have not benefited from the country's oil wealth.
There is an increase in the number of kidney patients in Kenya. Now, this was revealed as Kenya joined the rest of the world in marking the Kidney Day celebrations on Thursday in Nairobi.
Amid the pomp and color that characterize the celebrations to mark the Kidney Day, there is concern about the increasing number of kidney patients in Kenya. According to statistics, 10,000 Kenyans die annually from kidney-related diseases. Seth Makligeo, a kidney specialist, blames the deaths on lack of medical equipment and specialist doctors and nurses.
The world over, the prevalence, the amount of kidney disease in the whole world is increasing, and even the rate at which is occurring, it is increasing. That is everywhere, including Kenya, and yet the resources are not increasing at the same time. And then you have some other healthcare needs that you need to take care of.
Keeping in mind this year's global theme, chronic kidney disease, the government conducted free health screenings as part of its campaign to mark the World Kidney Day 2014. Josephine Orwa, a nephrology nurse, urged the youth who are now increasingly becoming vulnerable to kidney failure due to lifestyle to go for early screening.
I think the mentality that we have had before is that kidney disease is a disease for the old age. And our eating habits have also changed. We are somehow lazy. I think we don't exercise enough, we don't drink water enough. We have a lot of instant. We want this instant, that. So the youth, I can say, they're being affected because of not being aware, but probably because of assumption.
Ibrahim Joroge, who was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease in 2011, urged kidney patients not to lose hope since the disease is preventable and curable.
Move on, don't give up, and it's treatable. We have professional doctors who are going to advise you accordingly.
Well, as the world marks the Kidney Day celebrations, a very important call has been put through to the government of Kenya, the need to educate Kenyans on chronic diseases. For Ebru Africa TV, I am Annette Akisa in Nairobi.
At least 69 people have been killed in several attacks on villages in Katsina State, northwestern Nigeria. Now, witnesses say dozens of attackers rode motorcycles into villages and killed anyone that they found.
The assailants appeared to have been cattle herders from the ethnic Fulani who have a history of tension with local farmers. Police say the attack is not linked to the Islamist militant group Boko Haram, which is mainly active further east, particularly in Borno State. The attack, which first began on Tuesday evening, sent scores of people fleeing on foot from the 4 targeted villages about 180 kilometers south of Katsa city. Local MP Abdullahi Abbas Mashina said 47 people were buried in one village alone in Katsina State after the attack. President Goodluck Jonathan is currently visiting Katsina State to commission some government projects. For months, the area has been terrorized by raids blamed on semi-nomadic Fulani herders attacking Hausa farmers. Most Fulani-related violence in Nigeria is concentrated around the central Plateau state. Thousands have been killed in recent years.
That story wraps it up for the weekly report. Many thanks for your absolutely scintillating company. I'm Kamene Goro, and until next week, do have yourself a splendid time.